What's up, everyone? We're here another week, week 5. That's right, live on 5 with your host, Young Nuggy. Not Gangareth, because he's out of town, but we have a new host, new kid. You know him, you love him, and if you don't, you'll have a lovely time getting to do so. What's up, New?
What's up? How's it going?
Not too bad. Spicy start a little bit right before this. I opened a Dr. Pepper all over my desk in the way that it just shot out and sort of started fizzing. I didn't remove the cap fully, but man, am I glad I bought a spill-proof keyboard because I lost a keyboard to this previously.
Oh man, at least if you're spilling anything on your keyboard, it is the king of sodas, so I can appreciate that at least.
Oh man, and it's a trusty doctor. I was at work last night, and my friend was saying he was having a stomach bug. I was like, you want this Dr. Pepper I bought? Because, like, if you just sit at work, it's like, it was a stressful week, so I'm like, all right, fuck it. We're stressy, and I was like, I don't have anything to drink. I'm going to get a Dr. Pepper. I didn't drink it right away, because obviously I have it now, but it was just sort of, like, sitting on my desk, and he's like, I think I might go to the vending machine. I'm like, well, if you want this Dr. Pepper, I'm probably not going to end up drinking it tonight. So I offered to it, and he's like, no, my stomach hurts. And I'm like, you really don't trust the doctor? It has doctor in its name. American healthcare. Like,
oh goodness, exactly.
No, but like, did you ever have like the?
And it's like the only free doctor he was ever going to see in America, anyways, right? So
debatably free.
Debatably, there you
go. Did you ever like have like the experience where it's like the home solutions? Like, anytime you have a stomach bug, it's like ginger ale. When you're sick, it's chicken noodle soup. Like, just those like classic remedies.
Oh yeah, my family was like they were like the. Oh my gosh, the mecca of home remedies. Like even the one thing that always sticks out in my mind is my great grandmother always she had vitamin E ointment, and that was the thing that like cures everything. She's like, oh, you got a scratch, you should put some vitamin E on it. Oh, you're feeling depressed, you should put some vitamin E on it. Like it was like literally anything, you should put vitamin E on your body.
In vitamin E. Where can I get some? I need a bathtub amount of vitamin E. Asking for a friend.
Oh goodness. But yeah, so they were all like that. It's crazy. And my family is so multicultural too.
Yeah.
So no matter where you are, what side of the family you're on, you're just getting so many different remedies. And there was like, it got a little spicy once in a while when I was a kid, because like same thing, like you say, oh, I have my stomach hurts, so have some ginger ale. Well, one side would be like, yeah, have some ginger ale. The other side would be like, no, you need like cayenne pepper inside like water with lemon juice. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're like fighting over
that reminded me of like the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding, where the like solution for everything was spray a little bit of Windex on it.
Yes.
Like my family was.
Did you try Windex?
I haven't yet. My family was really big on like the Vicks vapor rub when you're sick. Like I had a brother who like couldn't fall asleep without it, things like that. And I was like in Milu's stream the other day, and she was like talking about like someone was saying how they were stuffy, and they were like, oh, you should try that like menthol rub that sort of like opens up your sinuses. And I'm like, oh, I know that Vicks vapor rub, baby. It's the homebrew special.
Right? Oh man, that's good.
Yeah, so
dude, I love it.
It's been a weird week for me, just overall really hectic. How things going for you?
Dude, pretty much the same.
Chaotic work week.
Yeah, chaotic work week, and I think it's it's just the end of the year. Everyone's trying to get as much as they possibly can done, and that's one thing I don't really understand is why we rush at the end of the year, actually. But like not only at work, but even in our personal lives, everybody's rushing for the holidays, trying to get ready.
I think there's just so much to do because like you have to plan seeing family. Like depending on where you live, there's snow is a factor now, so you have to spend more of your time dealing with that in your travels, accommodating for people forgetting how to drive suddenly, and then like you have to pick up gifts for so and so. Did I get a card for so and so? It just becomes like a very big workload. And then like I think around the holiday season, like when it's the actual holiday, people finally get to unwind and like just enjoy that day, and then like that whole wait is over. So I think that's why there's that magical season feeling.
I guess that's true. I'm not that person, unfortunately. Or maybe it's fortunate or unfortunate, I'm not sure. But I'm the guy, like, I haven't bought a single Christmas gift yet, and it's December 15th. But on Christmas Day, all morning, I will be spending my time buying gift cards online and emailing them to my family. Like that's me. Like
My,
I don't want to stress.
the pro strats.
Pro strats, man. Life hack: just buy gift cards and send it to everyone's email. You don't have to do much. It's great.
Man, I would hate to, because I never read my emails. I'll like, all right, so I have my cell phone. It's connected to my Gmail. I get like quick notification previews of most of the emails. I would hate to miss a Christmas gift email, like a gift card in one of those, just from my own stupidity of not checking my email.
That would be upsetting. But I mean, there's ways around that, you know. I always double check. Like if it says, "Oh, your gift card has not been accepted," I'm like, "Have you checked your email recently, sir? You should get on that."
Do you have a moment to talk about your email inbox? Like,
there's that's actually kind of funny in the right. That's kind of funny when you think of in our culture too, like the gaming culture or
Yeah.
streamer culture, whatever it is, when you're just like, "Hey, can you just can you check your Steam, for no reason at all, please?"
I'm notorious with that. That is big. I want people to play a game. I'm low-key gonna send it to them. Like, just like, hey,
Yep.
check Steam real quick. You hit me with one of those the other day. We were playing Warframe. I was trying to get into it for the first time. Well, like, I want to say the first time, my first official attempt, because Warframe, I went through a big, like, free-to-play looking for a new game kick. Because, like, after a while, you burn out of games that you, at least for me, you burn out of games that you're trying out. So you want, like, something new. I was really big into MMOs and, like, online games. So I was like, Warframe's all right. That's a thing people play. So I tried it out. Played for half the tutorial, I want to say. I think the tutorial's a little bit more revamped now, and there's been big changes. But I played for half the tutorial, and I'm like, it seems like a lot, because Warframe doesn't tell you anything, doesn't teach you anything, besides, like, these are the controls. So I found myself, like, this game seems very, like, free to play. I had no idea how to get a new frame. I didn't know about, like, grinding for parts, things like that. So I'm like, it's technically free to play, but man, do I not want to play the same 10-0 or whatever, like same frame. So I ended up just putting that one on hold, never thinking about it again until I like started meeting you guys, and you guys were like, "Oh, you played Warframe, this." But then all I heard was like, "Man, this game has no content." So I was like, "That looks like I dodged a bullet." But big updates, big changes to that recently. I figured, I'm really into RuneScape. I'm trying to get you into RuneScape. If that takes me playing a little bit of Warframe to maybe give you
I
a
see
chance.
what you've been doing. This has been a long play this entire time. He's like, I'll play with New on Warframe, and he'll have to play with me. Like master plan all along.
Well,
that's funny.
It sort of was that, but like obviously if you don't want to play, you don't have to play. But I also thought like everyone's saying Warframe doesn't have content because they played through all of it. So like I'm in that like golden boy spot where I get to play the content for the first time still. So I'm not experiencing that like few year pocket of like just new frames coming out, but no new like missions or levels or things that really felt impactful. So I'm like I have the whole game to look ahead to.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. You've come in at a good spot because the fact that there was this content drought, we couldn't play, but for you, it's perfect because by the time the new content drops, hopefully you'll be close to being caught up and you can actually do it. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
They did just recently
level
do
80 stuff.
That is true. That is true. You held your own. You held your own. That was fun.
But yeah, big content drop. You wanna let me know what that's all about?
Yeah, they just dropped Empyrean, which is basically like space exploration section. So like you know, you can go around to all these different planets and everything, which you've seen, right? And you do all the missions on them. But now they have these new ships called Railjacks that they released that you can it's a grind and a half to try to build it. But once you build it, you can go out in your ship and do space missions in like an open world space setting, where you're literally doing, ship battles, and you can leave the ship and go outside in your Arcwing and fight things, or you can board other ships to go destroy them and things like that. So I mean, it's pretty interesting. I'm excited about it. I played it for a little bit the other day, and I actually truly enjoyed it. I was really worried because, again, lack of content, you know. Um, I just haven't wanted to play. Like, I would go on, I'd play for half an hour, and I'd be bored, and then I'd switch to something else, right? And I actually went on, played for a whole night, and I was just really enjoying the new content. I thought it was great. So I was worried that it was kind of this drop, I think, was one of those drops that was their make or break for the game. You know what I mean?
Is there one
And
chance to
so
pull
far,
in new
people are
players,
enjoying it.
or not new players, but returning vets?
I think so. Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, I already had a lot of friends that we've met through streaming that have hopped on, and they'll send me a message, and they're sitting here like, "Man, have you been playing Empyrean? I'm loving it. I just can't stop playing it." And I'm like, "Wow, that's really cool." Like this is a person that was trash talking the game for so long that, you know, because there was no content or whatever it was. So yeah, it's been pretty nice though. I mean, I've been enjoying it.
That's crazy. Like, I love when a game can just sort of like has this veteran community. It sort of dies down, and they realize, hey, we need to do something about this. And they, whether it's like bring it back to the state of the game that people wanted to play, such as like World of Warcraft recently relaunched Classic in November. Old school RuneScape, that's one of the games where, believe it or not, they started changing so much back in the day that people would literally like gather in groups in the in-game world and just like protest it, talk about how much they hated it. There was like mass quittings, things like that. So they had
Wow.
to revamp the system, like go back to the original method of what the game was, and sort of be like, hey, we realized that you guys like the game in this state, and we appreciate that, and we miss you guys. Give us your money. But it was like,
Right.
but it was like, we realized we fucked up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this out there. If you guys want more content, or if we want to put in new content, we're gonna run polls. And people who play, like, there's a requirement. It's not a heavy requirement, but there's like, I think it's like have X amount of skills or whatever, or like this many quests done, and you can vote in the poll. But it's like players actually have a strong say into what goes into the game now. Like, if it's whether it's a quality of light
awesome.
feature, or if it's new content, like a new area, new quest. If it's a great idea, it's hashed out, they showed a preview of it, they have it all built out ready to go live, but it doesn't get the support from the community, it's getting scrapped. And they've been
Wow.
really good at upholding that, and I think that's such a good move.
That's really neat. I actually can appreciate that quite a bit. Like, I don't think there aren't that many game companies that do that where it is actually community driven content, you know? And so that's pretty awesome that they do that. I've always wanted a community game like that. But I've never really found one, you know? Like Warframe and a few other games I think are really great with community content, but a lot of times the community content isn't necessarily what you want in the game in terms of like, for instance, if it's missions or something of the sort, but it might be cosmetics. Like Warframe's really big about community-driven cosmetics and things like that. And but never has it been like, oh, here's this huge content drop that we want to do. Like if they were going to drop Railjack and showed it to everybody, and then everyone was like, I don't want to play that, they still would have dropped it. You know, like there's no way.
Ah, that's how it
And
felt with like
yeah,
World of Warcraft. Um,
right.
it seemed like very reluctant when they dropped Classic, like, because a lot of people there's right now Classic and Retail WoW. A lot of players hate Retail WoW. That's been very like streamlined for new people to get into. Like, leveling isn't really an issue. You have so many like quality of life updates that you like lose the essence of how fun the game was, and like leveling up in the grind, the challenge, everything like that. Like, the levels 1 through 60 area, like Azeroth, you weren't able to, in original World of Warcraft, you weren't able to have a flying mount. Those didn't exist. You had to like save up your money and like really grind to get your first mount, like, which would be level 40 out of 60. And it would honestly be a grind if you didn't play the auction house. So it's like you felt accomplishment to have this thing. And now like it's like, hey, if you have a high level character, you can just buy a permanent mount from level 1, or you can fly over this planet now like easily. It's like, so it ruined a lot of like the fun parts of the game, the memory, the grind. So when they dropped Classic, they were like, people have been asking for it, but like they didn't really support it right off the bat. Their whole method, everyone roasted them for it, was, you guys think you want this. Like, that was an official statement from it. So like they created servers and things like that on launch, and like it was flooded, and they were like, oh, it's gonna just drop off after a few days. But no, Classic's gotten like a tremendous amount of support, so I think they're finally realizing they're in their ways. But I don't like that they approached it in that manner, where they're like, hey, you guys think you want this, we know how to make the game better than you, we've put out 8 expansions, you know, like,
Right.
Man, that like sort of rubbed me the wrong way. And I loved playing World of Warcraft to the point where when Classic came out, I took off a week of work just to play.
I remember that.
Yeah, and it was bad because it got to a point where it started affecting my health. I wasn't getting sleep and stuff like that. So right now, my current goal is to never touch it again because I don't want to get sucked back in it.
Yeah, I hear that. Someone recently was trying to get me to start WoW, and I was like, I don't need anything to ruin my life, thanks. And it was to the
I'm
point,
doing
and I literally
that
said
on my own well enough.
exactly. And I think I think I literally said that, and they're like, yeah, I would never do that to you. Don't play it. Like,
I mean, if things get bad, though, just put some vitamin E on it.
exactly, done.
Pro strats, you heard it here.
It'll turn your whole life around. This episode is brought to you by DBD Vitamin E Ointment.
Oh, we're making it and selling it now. We're self-sponsor.
But yeah, so I agree. I think that the way that they went about it is definitely not the right way. But I think that in the long run, that level of nostalgia for people that have been playing for so long probably kind of hit home for them. And that's why there's so much support for it, even though, like you said, they might have gone about it the right way. But still, yeah, I can agree with that. But
Yeah.
speaking of new content or games, you recently put out a request for new games to play. Has there been any that have stuck out to you in those suggestions?
Yeah, one that I'm never playing. Welcome to the game 2. Val, if you're listening, which you're probably not, I'm not playing that. There's no clip of me freaking out getting swatted. That doesn't exist. But yeah, no, so I have a few suggestions floating around. One of the more pertinent ones is like Outlast. I'm terrified of scary games. It's like,
oh, great,
not my cup of tea. Because someone wants me to play that, and I'm like, it's not even October. It's not like spoopy month. You're doing this just to torture me. So I don't know, like, because I beat Pogo Stuck, and that was my biggest goal. Because I mean, I haven't beaten Getting Over It or Jump King, and those are like considered the like hard game or god gauntlet, like the triple G, the Trinity of challenging platformers. And most people who do it would argue that Pogo Stuck's the hardest of the 3. So like, I feel accomplished getting that done, but I'm lazy as fuck. Like, you're telling me I gotta go beat Getting Over It and Jump King now? Yikes.
That's a big yikes. Yeah.
I gave them a good college try.
Right? I have so much pressure on beating those games too.
Oh yeah,
Val and Harley, man. My goodness.
I mean, I might get into that. Make it past Oranges when?
I'm past Oranges. I got to Bucket. I got past Bucket, actually.
Oh, you got past Bucket? You got Mountain? Damn.
Yeah.
All right,
I fell down the mountain and then all the way down the map and then alt F forward and walked away.
Never looked back.
Never looked back. It was on stream too. I got past the bucket, got onto the mountain, was going up, fell perfectly to right where Snake is, and went all the way back down and just walked away midstream. I was so defeated. I just like I can't be here.
One of my favorite getting over it clip was one of my friends. He got up to the mountain. Or not the ice hill. messed up like one of the catches and started flailing his mouse trying to like recover, because that's what you do. You don't think, hey, at the bottom of this hill there's a snake, I better not have my pick to the left. Rode the snake all the way down, because it's just the worst. Like, it caught on it slightly, and once you're on the snake, you're on the snake. Yeah. And man, oh man, he was so tilted, he threw like a jar of coins. He grabbed an empty box of tissues and tried to like rip it, and it was like the most pathetic rip ever, and I was dying.
Oh man, that's amazing. I think my favorite to this day, well, maybe it's not my favorite, but one of my top favorite clips is Harley was playing the game, and he got to the very end and he beat it. Yeah. And he's like, "We're going home." And he was so excited. And he flung his mouse and he hit one of the asteroids and flung himself all the way back down.
Oh no.
And so he's literally about to be completely done with the game and just flung his mouse and smacked one of the rocks and went straight back down. It was the saddest thing in the world.
You would think
it was great though.
With that setup, you would think it'd be like one of like the getting over it soft blocks at the end when you're climbing like the antenna. If you get to the other side of the antenna, instead of launching yourself into space, you're like stuck and pretty much need to reset. Like, there's no recovery from that. But no, just like the hubris of man ruined Harley.
Yep. Just when you think you're out.
Dude, I don't know. I think I'm moving past rage games for a while. They used to not tilt me, but like the moment I beat Pogo, there was this big sigh of relief. I've been playing that game for over 100 hours. I beat it because I reset a lot, so I don't have a true full or first clear time. So like my first run was sub an hour. It was like 47 minutes. And then after doing that, I was like, now that I've beaten it, I wonder if it's less stressful. Went through, beat it in 11 minutes, like right after. I was like, oh
my gosh,
that's crazy.
Freaking G. That's awesome.
So I was like, oh, at some point I want to get top 100, because I'm like only 4 minutes away, and like the more you play the game, you'll get in there. Like you get better. I came back to it this week, and it was so bad. I was getting tilted. I wanted to swear. Like, I've never felt this way about Pogo stuff, because like I expected to be bad at it. Like, I knew going into it, like, I'm probably not gonna beat this game. So, like, I didn't get mad if I fell, because I was like, yeah, that's reasonable. I'm not going to make it to the end, but I'm going to keep pushing. Once you beat it, for me, it's like something flopped for me. I'm like, I'm resetting too much. It got to the point where I was like, all right, if I reset, I need a punishment. So someone hit me with the Ken punishment of push-ups. Oh, baby. Oh, no. My ass was in overalls doing push-ups.
Oh, that's too good. Well, I mean, it kind of comes with the territory, right? Like it's something that you've already done before, so you know you can do it. So when you're going through it and you're just making like random little mistakes that you probably shouldn't be making, or whatever the case may be, it's like that's kind of defeating, because you're like, no, I've done this before, and maybe maybe even multiple times you've done this, and then now all of a sudden you just can't get past this one spot or whatever it is, right?
Yeah,
I could see that as being tilted. I'd be furious.
Oh man, I like to think I'm pretty relaxed when I play games. Besides, like, I don't know, because I'm mostly now a PvP game player. Like, I'm not amazing at PvP games, but like if I'm playing Destiny, I'll do a raid if everyone really wants to. But aside from that, you can find me in Crucible. I'm not grinding glory. I'm just going around having a good time. But like, so you don't really get tilted in that. It's like, it's short. It keeps my attention. Playing platformers and things like that now, I'm like, just like, oh, do I really want to do this to myself? I don't know where that came from. Like, I used to be so relaxed. Maybe it's just this time of the year. It's that stressful, bro.
Maybe that could be back to our December hustle, I guess. That's kind of interesting though. That's such a drastic change, but it could just be your personality changed over the years, right? But that'd be like never wanting to play like an RPG again or something, right? And now you just want to play PvP because that's what relaxes you rather than an RPG.
Yeah, I wish there was more hours in the day that I didn't have to do anything.
Dude, same.
Like, I feel if I had that, man, I would go through all the childhood classics. Like, a goal of mine, it's really dumb, and I'm probably not going to do it because, like, if anyone knows me, they know if I'm playing one game one day, that's probably the last you're going to see of that game for, like, a few months. Even if I'm invested in it, like, I'll spend, like, 12 hours playing this one game, and I'm like, oh, this is cool, this is great, oh, I'm laughing, having a blast. We're going to continue this next stream. Never happens. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah. But, like, so it's rough because I want to do all of the Final Fantasy games that aren't MMOs in order from start to finish. Not in one stream, because that's obviously, like, that's how you die. But, like,
yeah.
I think, like, the speed run for Final Fantasy X is, like, what, 8 hours? Like,
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
and that's, like, the most optimized route. So,
Wow.
if anyone knows me, I'm not an optimized player.
Yeah.
So doing that in order's gonna be spicy. Maybe when I'm in a retirement home, we'll cross that one off the list.
I was gonna say, so we're gonna finish all the Final Fantasy games in like 2050, something around there.
If we're lucky.
If we're lucky, there you go. I feel that though. I have major game ADD, and there's like a meme in our community about it. And you can ask Gen, you can ask almost anybody, and they'll tell you about, like, I'll start a game and I'm so pumped on it, and I'm just like, dude, I don't want to stop playing this game. But then I never play it again, and I just jump to the next game, and then the next game. I just buy games to play it for like 5 hours, and then I never play them again.
Oh, you and me both. You recommended One Finger Death Punch. That game is a blast. I played it like religiously for a solid day. I recommended it to others afterwards, and then haven't touched that game in like a few months at this point. I'm gonna be real. Like, it's something I know I want to go back to. Yeah.
Yeah. The day that you and I played it was the last day that I played it.
It's one of those things. It's
like, dude, play this game. It's amazing. Okay, bye.
It's one of those things. Like, it's the classic Steam sale sort of like mentality, or it's like, I have this library full of games I'm never gonna play, but man, this new game's only $1.49 on sale. Let me just slap. I'll get around to it eventually. There's actually like websites I've found, like, where it's like how long, given like average game players and completion rates. There's a website. How long will it take you to finish your Steam library? And the numbers on those get really, really depressing.
Oh man.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
I need to see that in my DMs because I want to see what it is.
Yeah, like, man, it's games are so great. It's just you had all the time as a kid to play. At least I did.
Yeah.
Like, after homework or even skipping homework. It's just like being a kid, no bills, no responsibilities. You can nap whenever. But the thing is, like, you didn't appreciate naps back then. At least I didn't.
Nope.
It's like, no, I want to stay up. I know what I'm doing more than you. Like, it's my body. But now I'm like, oh, if I had like an hour to sleep, oh, my day would be infinitely better. Like,
right. I've never been a big nap guy, but recently I've had to, because I've been reverting to like not sleeping again. So I come home and I'll like, it's almost it's like involuntary naps. It's like I come home and I'm from work
sitting
or whatever
down
it is,
or something like that, right?
Yeah, and then I sit down and I'm like, okay, I got to get ready and, you know, make dinner and do all this stuff. And then I wake up like an hour later and I'm like, oh, okay, no time for any of that.
Yikes. I use the term nap lightly. Sometimes I'll say sleep, sometimes I'll say nap. It all depends on like if I have to wake up and do something afterwards, but the duration's about the same. It's like 4 hours. Like, I'm either napping or sleeping based on what I have to do.
I love it.
I know some people who are like purists, and they're like, if it's over like 15 minutes or if it's over an hour, it's not a nap. That's called sleep. And I'm like, I'll call it whatever I want. Like, people are like, oh, breakfast, that's it's got to be in the morning. It's got to be eggs and things like that. This. Like, it's limited to a set group. You don't really have like a steak for breakfast unless it's like steak and eggs. Something like that.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, yeah. But like,
Absolutely shenanigans. I have Brenner like on the daily almost. Like breakfast food is good anytime. Actually, all food is good anytime. I'm
oh, for
totally like the
sure.
guy that will wake up like and like in Thanksgiving, you always have Thanksgiving leftovers, right?
Yeah.
Well, I had Thanksgiving food for breakfast and then I had breakfast food for dinner. Like, I mean,
Pro
come on.
strats. Yeah, but
I'm
like,
telling you.
yeah, but in essence, like the word is break fast. Like it's your first meal. It's not, oh, it needs to be this. It's like, hey, I've not eaten in X amount of time because I was asleep or whatnot. I'm breaking my fast.
Right.
It's weird thinking about like the origin of words and stuff like that. Lately, I've been trying to step up my French vocabulary.
I've noticed.
In my school history, like first and second grade, you take Spanish, at least from my like education history, and then third and fourth you take French, and then fifth grade you got to pick what language you did, and then from middle school onwards, it's like, hey, if you're doing a language, you have the options of Spanish or French, and then like later in high school they add more languages. I always ended up because like second and third or first and second grade, I had Spanish, but then I took French. I was like, I might as well continue taking French. So from the third grade to the end of high school was just like all learning French to me. I wish I could speak it. So like lately having a French friend's been helping because now we have like inside jokes and things like that, but I can't fluently speak it. So I'm like, maybe I should reinvest in this and use like 8+ years of quote unquote experience for something.
I wish that so half of my family is Spanish. And so growing up, I was always around it, so I kind of learned it a little bit, and then I took it in school as well. And then after like once I was in, kind of like high school, um, I wasn't around my family as much. I'm talking like my grandparents, aunts and uncles, like things like that, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't get to see them as much, and then obviously after high school, leaving and doing everything on my own, it all went away. So like now I can like I can understand certain things out of like in context,
Yeah.
and maybe not understand all of it, but like try to get me to speak it to you. Oh man, it'll be a interesting conversation. I'll tell you that much.
I feel like that's where my proficiency lies too. Like, with French, I can most likely read it because there's context clues in the phrasing, the like conjugation and things like that. And then like if someone's speaking it to me, I understand less, but I can like sort of pick up on that, like what they're trying to say. When it comes to actually saying it, I'm floundering. Like I'm like
I
over
hear
here
that.
like qu'est-ce que c'est croissant? And like it's like
I love it. I think it's learning a language is to me is one of the hardest things to do. Mainly just because I think you have to have like the skill to do it or something. But like certain languages, for instance, have their own um what do you call that? Like their own what would that be? Consonants, I guess.
yeah, yeah,
So
sort
they
of,
have
I
their
think.
own sounds, right?
Yeah.
That do not exist in the English language. So if you grew up speaking English and now all of a sudden you have, like for instance, like Korean has like an L and R sound that goes together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Japanese has it too, I think. And it's just like, how do you pronounce that? It doesn't, it just doesn't compute for me. Whereas I see other people, I have friends that speak like multiple languages, and I'm just like, I just can't comprehend how they do it. It's just so interesting to me.
It's a weird perspective because just like with the community we're in, we have like a lot of European friends who English isn't their native language, and I think most of them speak English better than me, and I grew up speaking English. So it's like
Yeah.
it's a rough one, but then you like hear their experiencing like or experiences of learning English, and it's like, that show Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yes.
It's like with English, they pretty much describe it as the points don't matter and the rules are made up. Like that's how they described it to me. Like I was talking to Saturns the other day, and she was like, yeah, English makes no sense. And I'm like, how so? And she's like, well, the way you guys like just change words completely when you make it plural, you don't like always add an S or something like that. There's no constant rule. And I'm like, sure, give me an example. And she's like, mouse, mice. And I'm like, oh, you're fucking right, though. Those are completely different words. They're like goose, geese, not gooses.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like,
Right.
oh shit. Because like that reminds me of like things I saw where it's like you can have the word, you can read red, but do you read?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
they're spelled completely the same way, and it's like you throw those two next to each other. Someone who doesn't know English will pronounce probably both of those words the same way. They'll be like either read, read, or something like that. They won't see it as like two completely different words with different meanings. And I'm like, that's rough.
Yeah. And that's why I don't know if it was with you or I don't remember exactly who, but we were talking about what's the most difficult language to read. And growing up, I've never thought this, but a lot of people say it's English. And it's purely because of what you just said. Like we have so many rules in the language, but no constant rules. You know what I mean? So just like you said, like a perfect example of that is like you have, like you said, mouse, mice, goose, geese. But moose is just moose, whether it's plural or not.
Yeah.
Like things like that. And then on top of it, we have so many homonyms where it's like there. You know what I mean? And they're all completely different words, completely different meanings and spellings, but they all sound the same. Or like you said, read, read, things of that nature. And then on top of it, we have so many idioms and everything that don't exist in other languages, right? So it's kind of interesting.
Like fish is singular, fish is plural, fishes is plural, fish. If you follow me on that, right? Like, like
who said that to me the other day?
I don't.
I had it was you. I completely shut down your joke when we were playing. What was it? We were playing. Oh no!
Was it during Warframe?
What's the pirate game?
Oh, Sea of Thieves.
No, Sea of Thieves. You're like, what do you call a fish without eyes? And then you're like, and I answered it, and you're like, oh.
Oh man, no. I mean, it was like at that point I was really just fumbling for like sea-related jokes because like I already like ripped my throat practically. Like after we played Sea of Thieves, I committed to the voice for about an hour, but like I knew my throat was already hurting, and I think I ended up like actually like the next morning there was like blood in it because you're just going yarg and like really just getting in like that. Oh, you right? When you're right, you're right. Like even then I didn't full commit to it, but like yeah, so it's like you get through so much of it, and then I'm like, all right, now I'm just gonna make shitty like pirate related jokes and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, we were fishing, this seems relevant at the time. Yeah, so I don't know, that one, it was a joke that more people know. I tend to try to not go for those ones, but sometimes you have to just test the waters a little bit.
Oh goodness. I took that as another ocean joke.
Yeah. Oh, okay. For sure.
Yeah,
for
just
sure.
making sure we're on the same page. Okay, good. Yeah. That's actually another interesting thing. Voiceover actors that actually do like different voices. Like there's some of those voiceover actors that do like they voice the entire show and all the characters on the show, but it's like just one person. That stuff trips me out. I feel like you'd be good at that.
I don't think it, because I have a very distinct, people say they don't notice it, but like initially you hear it and then you forget about it until I bring it up again. I have a very distinct lisp. The more you talk to someone, it's like, oh, you just expect it. You don't really pick up on it, I guess. But I had one guy, love him to death, comes in my stream every now and then, and the first thing he'll say to me is he'll give me a line to say, and it's always the same line. It's Susan Sarandon serves a succulent shrimp scampi. And like,
what?
Yeah, I have a blast every time. Cause like growing up on Xbox 360 online, Xbox Live parties, in-game chat, playing Call of Duty, playing Halo, you got roasted on the daily, even if it was like with your boys, you're doing good in a game. It was just a roast session. If you don't know what I'm talking about, man, you haven't lived life, and you should follow Out of Context Xbox Live messages on Twitter for a recap. But like, So it was like, you sticks and stones might break my bones, the words may never hurt you. Like, you experienced that, and you got tough because of Xbox Live parties. Especially me, like, anytime I would talk on microphone, they're like, "Oh, you have a lisp," or they'll start doing like things like that, and like,
Yikes.
you just like toughen up. So like when people bring up my lisp or anything like that, I'm just like, yeah, whatever, dude. I have a blast with that. I'm like, hit me with your most like stated sentences. Like, give me it. I'm having a good time with it. This is how I am. It actually like brings me back to a weird story. So in elementary school, there was speech therapy because like a lot of your development is as a kid, and then it sort of like paves the way for your future experiences. So I was a part of the speech therapy program to see if they could like get me to like correctively start forming the words, etc. If it was just like a learning difference or anything like that. So I went through a few years of it, and at the end, everyone else was like graduating and stuff like that because they were just saying words where they're like using W's instead of R's or shit like that. But then like at the end of it, for me, I just got a like chewy peanut butter chocolate chip granola bar, and they're like, "All right," and then never saw me again. They just gave up.
Man. Oh no. Oh no. Yikes.
Yeah, I'm not complaining because those granola bars are smack as fuck.
I was gonna say, it sounds bomb as hell. I'm down to go through some class for that. I'll take it.
Every so often.
So
no, say what you say.
I was just gonna say, like, that kind of reminds me of something. The Xbox Live. It reminds me of how thankful I am for the community that we have. So yesterday, me and me, Salty, and Noodle decided to play Counter-Strike together.
Oh.
I haven't played Counter-Strike in around 10 years. I used to be like a sweaty Counter-Strike player, and I kind of forgot what it was like to be in a community like that. And so yesterday was a very interesting day because I forgot how toxic playing that game actually is. And it made me go into a state of like, all the times I think about like anyone being toxic in our community, it is just like miles of levels beneath what it's like being in the community like that. Oh my gosh. So I really had to reevaluate my outlook, and I was like, I love our community so much. I don't need to be a part of that one.
I think there's a new level of toxicity in any game that you can injure your teammates and or kill them. And
yeah,
man, Counter-Strike and like even Siege can get toxic. Like
yeah. Oh goodness.
Because I remember playing a lot of like ranked Siege with one of my buddies, and he's very like strongly voiced in wanting to help people improve. And even if it's good advice, even if it's like the right call, most people aren't receptive to getting advice from the outside source. Like, you want to play the game your own way. Like, you're not looking to improve, or like you made a mistake, you're already like upset about it, but you want to just move past it. And sometimes that doesn't translate well. So my friend notoriously gets just like team killed, and it's like,
no.
He's top of the scoreboard most of the time because he has a sweat, and he's really trying. He's doing good, raising morale, making right calls, things like that. But man, do people hate him. And I'm like, oh, this feels bad.
Oh no, you're just instantly targeted by the entire opposing team.
But that brings up like something I have a blast doing. If anyone has like FaZe Clan or like a esports team name and like their like gamer tag or stuff like that, I will hit them with is that the real FaZe so and so and so and so, and just like really hype them up. I'll be like, we'll be in a low like silver to gold match, and I'm like, dude, you're smurfing the fuck out of it right now. Like, you have the moment they get a kill, I'm like, oh shit, yo, can I get a lesson on Fiverr? Just like, I have a blast doing that with competitive games. They really like, they'll either tell you to shut up, mute you, or they'll have a blast with it. And like, I think the last time I had it, it was a very wholesome experience.
Nice. Hey man, you're just like, I'm just trying to boost you up, man. Boost that morale. Give you the confidence to succeed, all right?
Yeah, like everyone playing a game, you can get tilted. It's very like high stakes, and especially in ranked, you just want to grind at the end of the day. Unless you're tilted already and just are on a D rank streak, like you want the best outcome, and it can get toxic. So like just small things like that to lighten the mood, I feel like really could change someone's day.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Definitely agree.
But recently I've been on like a random buying candy and trying to figure out what my favorite candy is. I do
Really?
this. I do this about like once every 2 years. It's not cyclical. Well, I guess in some way it is, but it's not like a strict schedule. Like I haven't had this in a while. Do I still like it? Where would I rank it?
I like that. I do like that.
Yeah, have you ever done that with anything?
No.
Oh,
I'm
man.
the guy that like okay, I don't when it comes to I uh, when it comes to anything that I eat, I'm the most non-picky person like in the world. I will literally eat anything and everything, and there's nothing really that I found that I actually dislike.
Is
So
is that
peop
like on a conventional scale, or like are we talking if someone hits you with a wacky combo like try fish sticks and applesauce together, you're like, fuck it, I'll do
Okay, yeah, I guess in that case,
it.
those kind of things, like troll food combinations, no, those are different. But like I'll eat any type of food. Like people will complain about like not liking mushrooms. I love mushrooms. I put
Oh,
them on
so
everything.
good.
You know what I mean? Things like that. Or like, you know what I mean? Like people get really picky about that kind of stuff. Or people will not eat certain types of food. Like they don't really like, I don't know, like spicy Asian cuisine. I love spicy Asian cuisine. I
Oh,
like
delicious.
Mexican food. I love like, you know what I mean? Just different cultures, I guess also. Like
Yeah.
I have a friend who up until last month had never had Indian food, and I love Indian food.
Oh
And so
man.
I took him out, and he loves spice too. He loves spice. He loves a lot of like flavorful food, and then he also likes the heat, right? So I
Indian
took him
food has
out,
a
and
very distinct kick to it, and I love it because I
yeah,
grew up with it.
see exactly it. So you know exactly what I mean. So I took him out, and he just like fell in love with it, and now like every week he's telling me about he's going back to the same place for lunch at least once a week. And I'm like, good, I'm glad. But yeah, so I've never been picky at all. Maybe when I was younger, I guess as a kid or something, I probably didn't want to eat my vegetables, but I think that was like just me trying to be a meme lord when I was a child. I don't know.
Is that,
Um,
or is it because
but
like as a kid your taste buds are so receptive that like the
yeah,
bitterness of vegetables are a thing, and as you get older they sort of like mellow out, so you can appreciate things like
definitely.
mustard, etc.
Yeah, your palate definitely changes over the years. Like when I was a kid, I didn't like black licorice. And I know that that's a hot topic for a lot of people eating candy, but like nowadays
Oh,
I love black licorice. I don't wanna, we don't have to dive into that. It's fine. We don't have to dive into
I
this,
don't
but
know.
that's just a good example.
I it's in my rotation of trying it. I know I don't like it, but like I try it every now and then. I'm like, maybe it'll change, because like as a kid I absolutely hated mustard. Now I can really appreciate it, especially when I was on a
Yeah.
keto kick for a while. It's very low carb. It's a good like throw this on a piece of chicken, adds flavor. Like,
Yeah,
but
exactly. I was the same way. Mustard too was a big one for me. It was just too much, you know.
yeah.
And now I'm like, just give me the most horseradish and mustardy thing you can.
Ooh,
Put it on anything.
I
But
love
yes,
me
I
a
was
good
never really
Reuben.
picky, so right? Oh man, that does sound good right now. But like even candy the same way. I'll eat any candy that is in front of me, but with candy, I'm not a sweet person. I don't like sweets. I like salty and savory. So like I'll go on a candy kick and I'll buy like a bag of candy and one day I'll eat like 5 pieces of it or something
Yeah,
and just like whatever it is, and then
you're
I'll never
tapped
touch
out.
it again.
Yeah. Are
Yeah, I'm
you
done. And then I'll do it next year again.
I know Harley has a firm stance on his opinion in this. Are you a fruit candy or a chocolate candy kind of person? Can you appreciate both,
Oh,
or are you like,
I appreciate both, yeah.
all right, all right.
My my eating habits are directly related to my mood.
Oh, I'm a
So
big
like
emotional eater. We'll get that one
yeah,
right.
but not even that, but even just like depending on what I'm going to eat, you know what I mean? So like uh I'm trying to think of a good example, but I have to be in the mood to eat fruit candy and I have to be in the mood to eat chocolate candy.
Oh,
Same
for
thing with
sure.
like foods, like regular foods too. Like there's days where I'm like, I'm gonna eat super healthy, and you know, whatever, I eat healthy.
Yeah.
Then there's other days where depending on my mood, I'm like, I'm gonna go get me a big thing of fried chicken and macaroni and cheese and potatoes. Like
Oh, now
it
I'm
all
thinking
depends.
about a little bit of fried chicken, mashed potato, and macaroni. Like,
Oh man,
that'd be so
it kind of
good.
sounds good actually.
Yeah, hold up a minute. Let's pause recording.
Let me
We'll
open
edit
up
this out and
DoorDash.
post. Quick food break. Get a little bit of mukbang going on when we come back. No, every episode
I'm
is
down.
shot in one take, so if you guys hear
Yeah.
radio silence and a little bit of lip smacking, my bad. Oh, I could go for
Oh,
some
that's good.
food right now. I worked a 12-hour shift. I work overnight. Came home, tried to stay up so I could make it in time for the podcast. Ended up taking a nap and oversleeping by an hour. But man, it's like 4 in the afternoon for me right now. I could go for like some lunch.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm actually gonna go get some food after this for sure. But,
What are you thinking about?
now I want to know
getting?
your stance though. I want to know your stance
on
now
my
though.
stance.
Yeah, your stance on the candy thing, because we kind of glanced over that, but now I'm actually really intrigued.
I'm more or less in line with you on this one. It's a very, if I'm going to the candy aisle, I know which team I'm gonna be on at that moment in time before getting there. Whether it's I want something like I want like fruit snacks, or if I want like Heath bar or Toblerone. I've been big on toffee lately. I think Heath bars
Ooh.
are my current favorite candy bar, but I will switch it up and go back to Butterfingers. Like,
That was me back in high school. Heath bars were like, I think that's when I first found out about Heath bars. Was like in high school. I was probably like a sophomore, and my buddy was working at Cold Stone at the time, and just like giving me free ice cream. And oh my gosh, I was living my best life. Let's just say that.
that's actually where my
But
like love for Heath came from, getting it in ice cream as well.
dude, oh my gosh, that's such an amazing coincidence. But yeah, so he's like, dude, we got this new thing where we put Heath bars in this ice cream. You got to try it. And I was like, what the heck's a Heath bar? So behind the counter, he gave me a Heath bar as well as put one in my ice cream. And I was like, okay. And I tried it, and I like instantly fell in love with it. And I was just like, this is my new life. Like, I'm just gonna eat Heath bars all the time.
It's one of those weird things where I feel like if I had Heath bars at like the age of 7, like trick or treating, or something like that, getting a Heath bar, I don't think I would have appreciated it as much as like when I first got introduced to Heath bars.
Same.
It's
I
not one of
agree.
those like little kid candies. And I hate to be like that and
Nah.
like think of opinions for little kids, 'cause like everyone's unique and all that. But like I feel like as a kid I was very big on like Reese's peanut butter cups, Butterfingers, almond joys, paydays. I loved me some paydays.
Mm-hmm. Those peanuts.
Yeah. And caramel. Big on caramel. Like
I've never been a candy person, I guess. I don't really like sweets.
yeah, I always do appreciate a nice savory, but
Mhm.
I'll pretty much eat anything. Thick season,
Yeah,
24/7. I'll eat anything. Man,
I like that. I like that we got to talk about food and candy for the last 10 minutes. That was actually kind of refreshing.
Oh, is it because like we just want to talk about it, or is it because we're just thinking about food now?
I don't know. I was kind of thinking the same thing. I'm like, man, am I actually just really hungry right now? And I just like I just need to go eat or what? Could be. Definitely could be.
There's just a local.
So congrats, by the way. Your mustache is back and rocking
I
greater
mean,
than ever, taking over the world.
it wasn't as good as your whole Movember mustache. We'll give it that. You definitely had the stronger Movember mustache. As much as you hated it, I loved it. I was thinking
Man.
this is peak Movember.
Peak Movember. Dear goodness. I kind of miss it. I miss the Freddie Mercury comments, to be honest. But also congrats on Movember hitting our goal. That was awesome.
Yeah, it's like I used to do it solo, and it would be like maybe like 1 or 2 people donated, but
Mhm.
it felt nice to get like us involved as a team, getting like the community around it. And it was nice just like being able to really reinforce the need for mental health awareness.
I agree. I've always, I guess, indirectly participated in those, as in I would just like donate to them,
Yeah.
or something of the sort. Or like if someone had a tweet going out regarding their fundraiser that they're doing it, obviously I'm retweeting that and
Yeah.
saying, trying to get as much support as I can for that person.
I'm a sucker
But
for
I've
the
never
Facebook
actually.
GoFundMe's.
Yep, same. I see it, it'll pop up on my feed. I'm like, oh, and click. Like, but I've never actually participated in one myself, and so I didn't really know what to do. Um, I didn't really know what to do, how to go about it, or anything like that. So I was really glad that like we teamed up together, and then got some uh, got some advice from a few other streamers that primarily do it, uh, and kind of went on it from there. I was kind of upset. Uh, But now that I know a little bit more, I think I know next year, uh, what to do and
Oh,
just kinda
you're
try to
you're
make it
you're already
as
thinking
better.
about next year. You're gonna you confirmed we're locking in those lyrics Movember 2020.
I'm telling you, be
Oh,
ready, be
baby, mark
prepared.
your calendars.
We'll see what
It's
kind of mustache we can get next year. It's gonna
there's
be awesome.
different ways to go about Movember, which I really appreciate. It's pretty, even though it's primarily like men's mental health, men's like physical health kind of fundraiser. Because there is sort of like a stigma as a male to getting help for those things or being like seen as weak or like you can't talk about it. That's all
Right.
bullshit. You should be able to talk about what you're going through. Everyone struggles. Even though it's more of
Yep.
like a male oriented thing, I will promote mental health with anyone, any gender, whatever you want to identify as. I support your decisions and I like will talk to you about anything you're going through because I suffer a lot and still do with mental health issues and depression.
Right.
Um, so I think it's very interesting how they Movember approaches the ways you can participate in it. There's sort of like a
Definitely.
hey, you could grow the mustache or whatever facial hair you grow or etc. Because it's sort of like a no shave November feel to it. But then there's also
Right.
like one where they promote you to do like something every day, whether it's like beneficial physically to you, like hey, exercise, go out on for a walk each day, document those things, or like do something that like is good for you each day and make it your goal to do it, and that's another way to participate. And I,
Exactly.
because there was years like where I was originally put on to Movember through a friend who noticed I was really depressed and he was like maybe helping others will help you. And he told me about Movember. I was doing No Shave November because that was just like the thing to do in high school previously. And he put me on to Movember and I was like, well, I kind of want to get into skateboarding. The weather's not bad. Maybe that'll be my physical activity. And then I like it helped me push myself to like go out, skate a little bit every day, or like work on a trick and document that. And
Right.
I wasn't able to do it every day because I was still battling with depression at that moment in time. But like even just like making the effort or like appreciating what I was able to do that month actively did such a boost for me that
Right.
really support the movement, the idea.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think that there's a really big place for it, especially in our community and culture. Because I mean, especially when it comes to gamers, for instance, and not even just gamers. There's also a lot of other, internet cultures like music and things like that, where it is really easy to fall out of a rhythm and just sit in your chair every day at your desk. You know what I mean? And not
Yeah.
get up and go and do something positive for your life, right? And that's what I really do appreciate about that, and that's something that I want to focus on for next year as well.
Yeah, I saw a meme that I felt personally attacked by, yet I love and I can relate to. It was
Uh-huh.
a picture of a like stock photo image of someone sitting behind a computer and like looking at you. And it's like I sit behind a computer at all day so I can go home and sit behind my computer. And I was like, if that's not the perfect description of like my job and like what I do now, or like when I come home and play video games, like get on Discord and chat with all my friends, like that I felt personally attacked in the best way.
That's amazing. That's actually our life. That's kind of funny that you said that.
Yeah.
You literally sit behind a computer all day at work, come home and sit behind a computer all night.
At least when you come home from work, you get to sit behind a computer on your own terms.
That's true. That's true. This is my decision, sir. This is my decision.
Getting paid the same rate would be nice, but like...
That's true. That's very true. Oh, man. Maybe one day.
Oh, baby. That's why I like RuneScape. It's very rewarding for all of my actions. Or like, you can just sit there and grind money, and it's like, oh, this is my second job.
Right. Dude, that's what I need in life, because like there's so many games out there that are just so grindy. And some games I do really enjoy the grind. Some of them I really don't. But it's because not all of them are really rewarding. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
don't finish it and be like, I feel so good about myself. Like you finish it and you're like, what did I just put myself through? Like, you know what I mean? Rather than having a positive at the end of it. Maybe I will try RuneScape then. Gosh.
I strongly
man.
recommend it because like we're watching a lot of streams. We mod for some streams. Like it's something you can always like have in the background and just like do something. And in that game, for the most part, as long as you're doing something, it's gonna benefit you to the most common end goal, which is to have 99 of every skill. Even if it's not the most efficient way, it's just like each action one step closer, and it adds up over time. And it's one of those games where, okay, I stopped playing, I can always come back to it and my progress is saved. So it's just like one of those things that you can grind away with and like keep you like doing things. Because if I don't think I have ADHD, but if I'm not doing things, then I'll probably just end up thinking or overthinking, getting sad, and then just sad boy showering or sad boy sleeping.
Man, preach.
So it's just like a nice like constant distraction, and there's a lot of things you can do and variety in it. So it really breaks up you have the option to break up the monotony of each skill and do other things. So it's been a very good distraction for me. I put G onto it. It's been helping a lot because it's sad boy season. I don't know if you guys know, but seasonal affective disorder is a thing. You might not experience it personally, but you notice your friends, especially towards like the winter seasons, the darker months where there's not as much sunlight, they're feeling a little bit down. Maybe check in on them.
Definitely.
That being said, though, it's been a lovely day spending time with you, new kid. But
yeah, same.
I'm a little hungry. You're a little hungry. I'm sure people thinking about fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, and mashed potatoes, they're a little bit hungry.
Yup, I shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have even brought it up.
Oh, no, for sure. Like, I'm thinking there's this one, like, barbecue place I'm strongly considering. It's, like, a very local barbecue place. I'm strongly considering paying them a visit right now.
Oh, goodness.
But, yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm glad we were able to align schedules and get you on the show. Looking forward to having you in the future if you're willing.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me. Always a fun time. Very much appreciated. So hopefully soon.
This is Young Nuggy and New Kid, and we're signing off. Have a lovely day, people.
Magical.
Bruh.
Oh, stop that.